أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum my dear students, hope you are all well and hearty over there. Here I have come up with yet another part of your chapter number 5th, the sermon at Banaras, which we have the half of this chapter has been read in the previous class. The sermon at Banaras is an extract from the Buddha's first sermon at Banaras. Here you have been given a brief introduction of the author himself, that how a prince Siddhartha Gautama was transformed from a prince to a monk who practiced yogic discipline up to the extent of starvation. Okay, so he was struck by a profound question, that how can we end the sufferings in the world? And we told you about the sufferings in the world. If we have a look at the present scenario in the world, there is sufferings all over. Okay, so we have left over there at page number 41 that the Buddha left his house, home, his fortune, and all the things that he had as a prince. He left all these things to get enlightened about the world, the sufferings. And in this sermon, after wandering for 7 years, he sat under a bo tree, which he called later on the tree of wisdom. He was then known as the Buddha, the enlightened one. Here in this extract, he is talking about one inscrutable kind of suffering. So the character which is presented over here to represent the inscrutable suffering that human beings generally suffer in their lives is Kesa Gautami. So Kesa Gautami had an only son and he died. The main character in this story, that is Kesa Gautami, had a son and he died. In her grief, she carried the dead child to all her neighbors. Just out of her grief, she took the dead body of the son to at the threshold of every neighboring house, asking them for medicine. She was asking medicines, and the people said she has lost her senses. She became an insane personality. Other people used to say, the boy is dead. The boy was already, the boy was no more. People were saying. At length, Kesa Gautami met a man who replied to her request. But when she ran after the medicine for a long time and at a long distance, she met a man who replied to her request, that she wanted a medicine to cure her son. I cannot give you the medicine for the child, but I know a physician who can. Now that person who replied her said that although he was not able to give her any medicine, but he could give an address of a man, that man can could give her a medicine. So and the girl said, pretty well, pray tell me, please tell me, sir, who is it? Kaun hai wo? And the man replied, go to Salyamuni the Buddha. Salyamuni is the name, Hindi name, and the Buddha was so go to Salyamuni. The Buddha was addressed by that person, that she had to go to Buddha for the medicines that she wanted. Kesa Gautami repaid to the Buddha and cried. Kesa Gautami traveled to Buddha and cried, Lord and Master, give me the medicine that will cure my boy. मुझे वो दवाई दे दे जिससे मेरे बच्चे की जान बच सके और दोबारा वो जिंदा हो सके. The Buddha answered, I want a handful of mustard seeds. The Buddha asked her to bring her a handful of seeds, and when the girl in her joy promised to procure it, the Buddha added. Now she was given a hope by the Buddha that yes, I can cure your son, but you have to, first of all, you have to bring a handful of seeds. But he added something, that in her joy, she replied that she would definitely procure it, yani she would definitely fetch it, she would bring it from anywhere. But the Buddha added what the Buddha added. First, he gave her a hope, then he added something, to that point that the mustard seeds must be taken from a house where no one has lost a child, husband, parent, or friend. And she was given a condition. In this condition, can only I can cure your son. That is, if you bring that handful of mustard from a house where there was no death. So, poor Kisagotami now went from house to house, and people pitied her and said, people took pity over her and said, what the people said, here is a mustard, here is mustard seeds, you can take this mustard seeds, take it. But when she asked it, did a son or a daughter, a father or a mother die in your family, they answered, now. When the condition she talked to the people that if there is no death in your family, that the people replied that what the people replied, they answered her, alas, oh sorry, in their grief they says, alas, the living are very few, but the dead are many. There are so many people who have already left this world. Don't remind us of our deepest grief. We are very grieved over the death of our beloved ones, and don't remind us of those people who have left this world. And there was no house, but some beloved one had died in it. And it's a fact, because she was in her grief, and she was out of her grief, she was not thinking about any other thing, she was not considering other things in her life. But the people said that there's no house, and there was no house, but some beloved one had died in it. Kisagotami became weary and hopeless. Now she once again became very tired and hopeless now, and sat down at the wayside watching the lights of the city. And she took a seat somewhere and had a look at the city lights as they flickered up and were extinguished again, and the people lights were flashing once and extinguishing at a time. At last the darkness of the night reigned everywhere, and she when she was weary, and she sat over there for a period of time, longer period of time. The sun set, and there was a rain of the darkness everywhere of the night. ठीक है, तो इसके बाद क्या हुआ? Everywhere, and she considered the fate of men, and that their lives flickered up and are extinguished again. So now she thought about the way human beings came into this life, and they went away to their final destiny. And she thought about how life of the people flickered and extinguished again. And she thought to herself, and now she start introspection, and she started reflecting over herself, how selfish I am in my grief. Now she thought about herself that she was so selfish. Death is common to all, death is common everywhere in the world, be it a Muslim, Hindu, nothing. Yet in this valley of desolation, in this valley of isolation, there is a path that leads him to immortality, who has surrendered all selfishness. Now she thought about the people, those who have left this world, but there is a way that people can achieve immortality, who has surrendered all her selfishness, all his selfishness. The persons who have left out their selfishness aside, and submit there to the will of the God, that you have to die. If you are born in this world, you have to die. That's the final destiny. So she thought about it, and she realized the fact that death is common to all. The Buddha said that the life of mortals in this world is troubled and brief. Okay? Now the Buddha said that the life of the people in this world is troubled, is full of sufferings, and very brief, and combined with pain. And it is also combined with pain, there is pain also. For there is not any means by which those that have been born can avoid dying. There is no means that you can avoid dying, any human being. After reaching old age, there is death. If you reach old age, although this is not necessary that you reach old age, then you die. It's when you are born in this world, you have to die anytime, at anywhere, anytime. Okay? So of old age, of such a nature are living beings. This is such a nature of the living beings. As ripe fruits are early in danger of falling, as he is taking example of the old age to the ripened fruits, they are danger of falling. So mortals when born are always in danger of death. When mortals means human beings are born in this world are in the danger of death always, as all earthen vessels made by the potter end in being broken. And he was taking yet another example that whenever a potter makes pots that are being that are end in being broken, that those are always broken down by people. So is the life of mortals, just is similar is the life of a human being. Both young and adult, be it a young person or an adult person, both those who are fools or and those, if someone is a fool, uh, who are wise, those who are very wise and intellectually sound, all fall into the power of death, and no one can escape death. Okay, all are subject to death. Everybody is in this world is subject to death. Of those who overcome by death depart from life. Okay, whosoever was dominated by the death, they had to depart from this life. A father cannot save his son, nor kinsmen their relations, not your relatives can save you. Mark, keep it in your mind, while relatives are looking on a lamenting deeply, when relatives are looking and lamenting where matam kar rahe hote hain bahut gehrai se, one by one mortals are carried off, peoples are taken off from this world, like an ox that is led to the slaughter, like the oxes are taking to the took out to the slaughter houses, कसाई की दुकान पे चले जाते हैं. So the world is afflicted with death. Now the world has been afflicted means उस पे डाला गया है ये चीज़ कि with death उन पे रखा गया है and decay, और ये दुनिया क्या हो जानी है, ख़राब हो जानी है, नेस्ती है. Therefore the wise do not grieve, इसलिए अक्लमंद लोग उस पर कोई गम नहीं खाते, knowing the terms of the world, because they know the parameters of this world. If someone has a little knowledge about the world, there is nothing permanent in this world except change. Neither from weeping nor from grieving will anyone obtain peace of mind. He is talking about the people crying, grieving. You cannot obtain peace by doing these things. On the contrary, his pain will be greater and his body will suffer. If we carry out with the same thing, still you cannot relieve yourself, but the pain will be greater and your body will suffer. He will make himself sick and pale. The person who wails and laments the death of others will make herself or himself sick and pale. Yet the dead are not saved by his lamentation. Lamentations could not save the person who has departed this world. He who seeks peace should draw out the arrow of lamentation. Anybody who seeks peace should draw out the arrow of lamentation and complain and grief. He has to shut out the doors of complaint and lamentation. Here, if that person seeks peace, he who seeks peace should draw out. Okay, he who has drawn out the arrow and has become composed will obtain peace. If that person took out the peace arrow of the affliction and the pains, the griefs, he would definitely be composed, calm down, and obtain peace of mind. He who has overcome all sorrows will become free, and if anybody overcomes defeat all the sorrows, he would definitely become free from sorrows and be blessed, and that person would definitely be a blessed person. So here we have this chapter ends. Hope you have enjoyed it. We will take it further to other classes, other chapters in the next videos, inshallah. Thank you for your kind attention.